Hi, everybody. And then I'm going to tell you a little bit about. Oh, we may not tell you, said Fessel to Foes. Red Nose. What will you do there? Said Milder to Mulder. Oh, we may not tell you, said Fessel to Foes. We'll hunt the Cutty Wren, said John the Red Nose. How will you shoot her? Said Milder to Mulder. Oh, we may not tell you, said Fessel to Foes. With bows and with arrows, said John the Red Nose. That will not do then, said Milder to Mulder. Oh, what will do then? Said Fessel to Foes. Big guns and big cannons, said John the Red Nose. How will you bring her home? Said Milder to Mulder. We may not tell you, said Fessel to Foes. On 4 strong men's shoulders, said John the Red Nose. That will not do then, said Milder to Mulder. What will do then, said Fessel to Foes. Big carts and big wagons, said John the Red Nose. How will you cut her up? Said Milder to Mulder. Oh, we may not tell you, said Fessel to Foes. With knives and with forks, said John the Red Nose. That'll not do then, said Milder to Mulder. What will do then, said Fessel to Foes. Big hatches and cleavers, said John the Red Nose. Who'll get the spare ribs, said Milder to Mulder. We may not tell you, said Fessel to Foes. We'll give them all to the poor, said John the Red Nose. So that is the lyrics from one version of an old folk song called the Cutty Wren. The wren is a curious and clever little bird, small in stature, but quick in wit and very shy. Perhaps this is a learned behaviour. Indeed, in some parts, they still went out to hunt a wren on St. Stephen's Day until very recently. A kinder turn thankfully now prevails, and the ritual of the Cutty Wren is carried out performatively in other ways, without the taking of a tiny life. In the west of Ireland, you might find the wren boys causing mischief out on the streets. But here, in East Anglia, the tradition is upheld in a place in Suffolk by old glory molly dancers and musicians who worked with folklorist Pete Jennings, shout out to Pete, to revive it on the dark streets of Middleton. On the evening of the 26th of December, a sombre procession emerges into the streets. A wooden wren, hidden within a bush of ivy, bedecked with ribbons collected over the years, is held high at the head of the line. The folk there following snake down the street in silence, lighting the way with lanterns, to gather outside the Bell Inn. There's some of them now. Here, dances are spun around the wren. The old wren hunting songs are raised up into the night, and then the wren bearer ducks into the pub to regale the fine folk within with the story of how the wren became king of the birds. I imagine it goes something like this. In comes I, the bearer of the Cutty Wren. Now gather close, everyone, and listen in. Did you ever hear the tale of how the tiny little wren bested all the other birds to win a place as their king? It was a cold and bitter day, at the beginning of all things, and the birds had set to chattering, a great cacophony of chirps, chirrups, and squawks, set to arguing indeed about which one of them deserved to be in charge. The crows, the robins, the owls, the tomtits, the spoonbills, the hens, the hawks, falcons, peewits, arps, barleybirds, billywits, blackcaps, bloodolfs, bluedars, butcherbirds, chatterpies, cobs, cowbirds, devlins, dickeybirds, diddappers, firetails, goatsuckers, greenolfs, harsners, hedge betties, hornpipes, laughing geese, loons, martin snipes, pick cheeses, pie wipes, rafflejacks, reed pheasants, sea pies, shoe owls, sphinx, even a fine eagle who kept quite quiet, but was quietly confident that he had the edge on the other birds. With the speed of his wings and the quick of his brain and the courage of his heart, he was a very humble bird. This went on for somewhat longer than it should have. And all the other creatures were frankly fed up of the noise that their neighbors upstairs in the branches of the trees were making. A small voice piped up from the forest floor. A hodmedod, shouting spikily at the top of his little lungs. How about proper competition then? He'd had an idea that might win them all a little peace. I reckon it would be a good test if you really wish to know which of you is best, to see who can fly highest, to win the crown. And under his breath he mumbled, take your time if you please, or perhaps never come down, before shuffling off to try and get some sleep. Well, the birds thought that this was a grand idea. A competitive silence fell over the place, and off they went, up, up, and up, into the cold winter sky. The owls fell out quickly, spying movement and screaming down close to the ground. The gulls did a little better, but the clear winner soon became, why, the eagle, of course, soaring so high he really could feel the sunshine. Once he was sure he could feel the weight of that crown on his head, he smirked to himself and began to go down, when a witty little chirp erupted from above his head. All the birds gasped in awe, including our eagle friend, for fluttering there above them all was a nut brown wren, who, though very small, was quicker in wit than even the eagle, who she had hitched a lift up with, hiding on his back until he had reached his limit, and then up she'd flapped. And that, my friends, is how the cutty and cunning little wren became king of the birds. Yes, this is all how it plays out in my imagination, and a similar story is woven in Ireland too. I don't know if this is exactly how it is told. I must go to Middleton and hear and see it for myself. Perhaps if you like, if your curiosity is piqued, so might you. I'll see you at the bell. But for now, I bid you all adieu.